He gave this to me and David Thewlis and Tom Noonan, and we did it at Royce Hall, but we only did it for 2 nights, and I loved playing Lisa so much. I found her just to be such a beautiful character, and I loved the piece so much. And I was sad when it was over. And then there were rumors maybe we'd go to Australia, and everyone was very excited about that, and then that didn't end up happening. And I just kept thinking about it, and then one day Charlie called me and said that he wanted to do it as a stop-motion animated movie. So I was very excited about that possibility, and that was 2 years ago. I was tremendously excited about it, and I think it's kind of a perfect marriage for this because there'd be no way to do it live action. And I have always loved stop-motion animation. It reminds me a lot of the things that I was attracted to as a child because it's so tactile. You really feel like you're watching like creatures move in real space, you know, whether they be people or animals. There's something very real about it and very unreal about it at the same time. And it's just evocative, and it has an emotional pull immediately. So I was just excited about that anyway. And then for this piece, it's kind of perfect because, you know, Tom is voicing everyone, and then they can all look the same, as well as sound the same. I walked in and felt like I was seeing a movie for the first time in my life. Like I'd never seen film before. You know, it's that, it's kind of groundbreaking. You feel like that when you're watching it, that you are watching something you've never seen before, and it's affecting you in a completely other way. And I think there's something about first of all, the writing is just so beautiful. And the filmmaking is so beautiful, but there's something about the fact that they're puppets, but they're dealing with things that we've all felt or experienced in one form or another. And because they're puppets, we can project ourselves onto them in a way that you can't maybe when it's a real person. It's about this man who is feeling so alienated and lost and doesn't understand why he keeps losing people that he loves, and why he can't keep a relationship in a way, and why he feels so alienated, and then the hope again that maybe he can have something in his life. Lisa is in a certain way, she's very ordinary and very simple and very straightforward. She's incredibly self-deprecating, a bit shy, a bit nervous. But there's also, she knows who she is, and she accepts her world, you know. She's made peace with all the things she thinks about herself, whether they're unflattering or not, and whether they are true or not. She has sort of found her peace within that. And she's just one of the loveliest characters I've ever had a chance to play. It's wonderful. It's so freeing in a strange way as an actor, because you really can just kind of go inward and remain very focused and still, and yet communicate, you know, and have these very intimate scenes. And the nature of doing it kind of in the dark was very intimate, so it lended itself to it, I think. David Thewlis plays Michael, and I've been a huge fan of David's for so long, and I've known him for a really long time, and always wanted to work with him, so it kind of couldn't be a better movie to finally get to work with him on than ANOMALISA. Yeah, so it was just, he's so damn good. He just really is. He's heartbreaking and brilliant, and I just love, he's also a great writer himself. I mean, it's funny because we've been friends for a really, really long time, but I just never dreamed that we would have an opportunity like this. He had an enormous challenge, and he's so brilliant. I mean, he says like it was hard for him because on stage he could do all these different voices because you could see it was the same person in the film. He had to kind of limit his voice so that you knew it was, so that you got that it was the same person vocally as well. But he still plays every character so differently. Like his kid is so different than the wife, who's, you know, so different than the ex-lover. He's no different than the hotel manager. I mean, he still created all these characters, and yes, I'm sure he limited his vocal range so that they all had a very similar sound, and yet he created completely different characters every time. Incredible. I mean, I've been wanting to work with Charlie for so long, and I did that part in Schenectady, which I love doing. I just love his writing, and I love him as a human being. He's so kind and thoughtful and brilliant and funny, and he and Duke worked so beautifully together. He's also incredibly generous, and he seems so confident anyway, and I think he is. Like, he really knows who he is, that he can really share the stage with Duke, you know? And he always lets Duke take the question and answer the question. I mean, he's just such a lovely man, and Duke is so young and so great and so gifted, and also has so much confidence. It's incredible, and he's so talented. And they just worked together beautifully. They really, really did. You think that they had to move each puppet individually for every single motion, blink, everything. It's just mind-blowing, and you forget all of it when you're watching it because it's so good. It couldn't come from anyone but Charlie, this movie. Just the imagination behind it, and the humanity, and the creative, like, it's just, who thinks that way, you know? Who can come up with these characters and the circumstances, and then, yeah. It could only be Charlie. The experience of seeing this film, it's like I was so excited when they were having screenings, because it's, you know, a film that I've made that I really know everyone will love. You know, it's like not every time you make a movie that you know people will love. And it's such an unusual experience to watch this thing. And it's not only funny, but it's also really moving, you know? And it's completely new, like I said. It's just like something we've never seen before. So it's exciting for me to share it with people.